Welcome to Under the Radar, a series where I talk about various anime series or movies that have fallen under the radar. Shows that are great but never received a huge amount of popularity. Hopefully I can shine some light on some shows that you might not have seen. In this episode I'm going to be talking about Toei Animation's 2007 series, Mononoke. No, not the Miyazaki movie, but the TV series directed by Kenji Nakamura. He's known for his unique take on directing and brilliant use of animation, and this show is no exception to this. Mononoke has an interesting episode structure. The series is split into 5 arcs, each telling a different tale of the medicine seller. He travels around Edo period Japan helping out people with their problems caused by spirits known as Mononoke. It's very like an episodic show in how the arcs are told, but each arc is given a lot more time to develop. Many episodic shows find it hard to develop their side characters as they only get about 20 minutes screen time. Mononoke can avoid this by spending 2 or 3 episodes developing them. The arcs each take on a different cinematic style. For example, there's a detective arc set in the 1920s and then a classic Japanese tale. Each arc had different guest directors, storyboarders and animation directors. There was always a main person for each role, but new people came in for episodes to give the art some distinction. Having such a variety of styles and stories really keeps the show fresh. It almost offers a whole new experience with every arc. It almost feels like a different show. Each arc not only had its own style, but its own focus. The arcs focused on a certain human aspect, whether that be love, death or birth. These were very subtle, but gave an extra layer of meaning. Being a show without much of an overarching plot, the characters were obviously not as well established as other elements of the series, but that doesn't mean they were not worth mentioning. Like Ginko from Mushishi and pretty much every RPG protagonist, the main character was very unspecific. This is done to allow the user to insert themselves into the story. Mononoke is a show that revolves itself around the story and its world and less around its main character. Though the characters play a big part in creating each arc, the story really moves itself without having to rely on the characters as much. There weren't really any extra characters in the show. Either there were no extras at all, or their faces were switched with shapes. This helps the show feel less real and more like an old story. Many of the characters were portrayed as objects actually. Sometimes characters would be replaced as objects, or very different looking versions of themselves. This gives it a really mystical feel and lets the story push the boundaries. This was something the show utilised a lot. Even when the characters were speaking, they would rarely focus on that character. They would focus on a more important aspect of the story, whether that be an object, a piece of scenery or another character. This style is very unique to Nakamura, and makes it feel so much more unique and interesting. The animation is by far the boldest part of Mononoke. Its insane colour palette and funky designs make it look so nice. They make even the dullest of scenes stand out by the use of textures and patterns. It wasn't just the backgrounds and designs that were boosted by the art style, but everything. Simple movements on the screen were made to look unique. The cinematography could really experiment with its camera angles and pacing because of the art style. It allowed environments to be dynamic. They could move walls and completely change the layout of a set without feeling unnatural. The use of this weird, almost paper-like style made the stories feel surreal. Character movements were sometimes slowed down or sped up to give the viewer an uneasy feeling or the sense of euphoria. Blurs were used for a similar effect. Everything seemed to have a soft overlay, making each shot look like a painting. This is helped by the use of static shots throughout the series. It made the series seem more like a set of classic stories than a normal anime. Sound was used in a similar way. A lot of the time there would be no music. They would just add odd sounding sound effects, like at the start of the very first episode where they used silence to build suspense. Only the sound of rain can be heard, giving the viewer time and space to take in the scene and situation. This is vital for a show that jumps into a story without any prologue or explanation. The opening might seem like a contradiction to the show. At first it sounds cheery and playful, but when you actually listen to it, it's not. The singer's voice is uneasy, and the instruments seem like they're being played with caution. It doesn't become clear on the initial listen, or even on the first few times, but once you get deeper into the show, you start to sense a hidden sinister feeling, playing into the show very well. Mononoke is a brilliant set of classic stories with dazzling art style and smart use of cinematography. It's absolutely worth a watch. I can guarantee it will give you a fresh perspective on how animation can be directed and displayed. It takes serious stories and tells them with a unique style and a pinch of weird humour. I 100% recommend this show. If you do go and watch this after watching my video, then please leave your thoughts in the comments of this video. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please do click the like button, and if you want to watch more, you can click subscribe or visit my channel, or you can click on any of the videos on the screen.